Hey there, I'm Jama, and over the past few years, I've become very interested in onomatology, the study of names. I've never really liked my name until I researched the meaning of it. My name means paradigm shifter, and I'd like to shift your paradigm by shining a light on onomatology and how it can potentially help you find your purpose, help you communicate better with others, or even both. In each episode, I ask someone 8 basic questions regarding their first name. So sit back, relax, and try to shift your paradigm with this next episode. All right, so on today's episode, I'm excited about this one. I know this person through a mentorship program that he invited me to, which has meant a lot to me in my life. And I also just interviewed somebody with the same name. So I'm excited to see the differences and the similarities possibly. So, welcome to the podcast, John.
Thank you so much, Jam. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. And can you tell the listeners where you're podcasting from and just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I live in Columbus, Ohio, and so married, 18 years, have a 14-year-old daughter, and I nonprofit leader here in Central Ohio with a mentoring nonprofit. Thoroughly enjoy that, but also really am a believer, follower of Christ, and love being plugged in and serving the local church. So that's just a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, well, let's just dive right into the first question, which is without using Google and prior to me asking you these questions, do you actually know the meaning of your name?
Well, I was told that it means gift of God or something similar to that. And I don't know. I guess maybe it depends on what book I read, but that's what I've
Yeah.
been told.
Okay. Yeah, it is a Hebrew name and it actually means or translates to God is gracious.
Got it. Okay. So I read the wrong book.
It was close.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of that meaning? Do you like that meaning?
I like that actually much better than gift of God, frankly. If
Hmm.
God is gracious. The gift of God, I thought, well, isn't everybody a gift from God? You
Yeah,
know.
right?
um and but God is gracious. I really do. Actually, I do like that because I've seen that played out in my own life. His
Yeah.
graciousness and his continued graciousness. I'm reminded in from I think it's Ecclesiastes. There's a verse that talks about Ecclesiastes is a small book in the Bible. It's kind of part of wisdom literature, they call it. And there's a little verse in there that the author is sort of praying to God, and he says, your mercies are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I'm just reminded of that element of graciousness, God's faithfulness and his mercies combined there. In my mind, encapsulate that word graciousness in some ways. So anyway,
Yeah.
I love that verse, and I think that yeah, that great God is gracious really resonates with me.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a good meaning for sure.
Yeah,
Do you know how your parents chose your name?
I do. So my uncle, his name is Johnny. My name is just plain old John, not Johnny. But my uncle had he and his wife had 3 daughters, and my dad said, "Hey, you weren't." Okay, I won't say exactly what he said, but basically he said, you weren't able to have any sons. I'll name my son after you.
Oh,
So that's how I had.
cool.
That's how I got my name. I'm named after my uncle.
Oh, I really like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
When growing up, did you ever have the thought cross your mind, I wish I had a different name?
I thought about that. I don't recall having that thought or feeling. I mean, maybe I did, but uh, yeah, I really don't recall having that as something like, oh man.
Hmm.
Um, if I would have, it maybe would have been along the lines of okay, John is so boring. Like it's just lots of people named John, so it's not
Yeah.
that. So, but I actually kind of like it because it is simple. Most people who are used to English know how to pronounce it, and it's not. It's not. It's obviously so. I mean, it's not unique in the sense of like, what was the name of that person again? Because you could just kind of
Yeah.
fill in the blank. It's like it's so unique that it doesn't it isn't unique, so it doesn't really stand out. But I
Yeah.
don't really wished that I had a different name or yeah, I'm kind of cool with it.
Hmm. Yeah. Has your name ever been mispronounced? I wouldn't think it has ever been.
It has not. No, my last name though has frequently been mispronounced, which is Scroggins, and so I've gotten Scoggins and Scroggins and all kinds of variations. And my wife is a school teacher; she still gets elementary school kids trying to pronounce our last name, getting it all
Hmm.
butchered. But John, nope, I've never had that mispronounced that I can remember.
Yeah, that's nice. And if you were forced to change your first name to another name, is there a name that you really like that you would want to change it to?
I would probably change it to my grandfather's name, which was Jesse. I just
Okay.
kind of like that name. I have an uncle named Jesse, a cousin named Jesse, uh, and I've seen that name get recycled. Kind of, it seems like there are trends in how names are used over periods of time, and it seems that Jesse has one that maybe is kind of swung back again. I'm not sure, but anyway, it probably would be Jesse.
Okay, cool. And do you think the meaning of your name, God is gracious, has any relevance on the way that you act or the way that you see the world around you? And if so, how?
So no,
Okay,
not really. I
that's
mean,
okay.
I see where like throughout lots of different cultures throughout history, people would have meanings. They name a person based on a lot of it could be lots of different reasons, and would have some could have some meaning to it.
Mhm.
Now, prior to you saying that God is gracious versus what I thought it was, which is gift,
Mhm.
I was thinking, well, I know some Johns that perhaps they probably were a gift in their circles, and then I've also known some Johns that they're more of a gift taker than a gift being a gift, and so I've known some good ones and some bad ones, and so
Mhm.
how that all plays out, I'm not sure, but I kind of see the free will that we have
Yeah.
interfere with what maybe God's intent was for us, even if it does have a great name meaning.
Yeah. I'm just curious, would the people that are closest to you in your life, would they say that you're a pretty gracious person by nature?
I do think that, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they
Okay.
would say that. Yeah, they've said that.
Yeah. I would agree. Even though I don't know you all that well, I've known you for what, like a year or two
Yeah,
now?
you're so.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. With your time, you're gracious with your time and your energy and your faith and helping
yeah,
others. So, yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I've seen that play out in that way.
Yeah. That's cool. All right. And my last question. So, when I first started this podcast, I wanted to see what some famous books said about names being changed. And I wanted to look at the best-selling book of all time, which happens to be the Bible. And there's quite a few different people where it mentions that their names were changed. There's an example in Genesis where God changes Sarai to Sarah and Abram to Abraham. And in the New Testament, Saul changes his name to Paul. I'm just curious, what is your opinion about what is the significance of the Bible even mentioning that their names were changed instead of just going and mentioning their new name and not mentioning their old name?
Mm. Well, it seems to me that in some cultures, the meaning of a name or maybe has more weight than, I mean, like, I know that you kind of started your journey with this podcast because of the meaning of your name that you discovered. Uh, so it's kind of hard for me to know exactly, like how significant that is in our culture versus what it was like for, in other cultures, biblical times. I would say that it adds to the narrative, the overall narrative, if it's changed from one thing to another, and then that new name really reflected what God wanted to do through those two individuals, like Abraham and Sarai, Saul to Paul. I think it really, that name change, I think it really underscores God's working through them, even prophetically saying, here's what's going to happen. Here's what this is going to be, who you're known to be, and your name reflects that. Um, I think that's significant. I think
Yeah,
it's significant. Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
Awesome.
anyway, yeah, I'm interested. Like, it's interesting. I know, like, some people spend lots of time, will consult people, pay people to get named, pay for names or whatever,
Yeah.
and other cultures and things like that. And I think ultimately, perhaps with like Sarah and Sarai and Abraham, Sarah, um, God demonstrated his faithfulness and power by accomplishing what he wanted to accomplish through them,
Hmm.
to the point where what he said about them was fulfilled. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. Totally. All right. Well, those are all my questions. Do you have
Yeah.
any questions for me?
Yes. What does Jama mean?
Yeah, so Jama is a Hebrew name and it derives from Jacob or James, which ultimately means supplanter, which I interpret as, well, supplanter means to turn over. And so my interpretation of that meaning is when you turn something over, you're looking at that same thing, but from an entirely different perspective. So I translate it to be a paradigm shifter. So that's what I ultimately say is that my
Paradigm
name
shifter.
is,
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. And how have you seen that play itself out or anticipate that it will?
Yeah, when I learned that meaning and I kind of just like really like sat with it for a while, it helped me make sense of who I am, like at my core, in terms of like, why have I done some of the things that I've done in my past? Or why do I always overanalyze situations? Or why do I excel in certain areas of being really like operational and analytical and looking at things from all perspectives? And I'm always like, why am I like hardwired like this? And it just kind of made sense to me, and it helped me make sense of who God made me to be, and it helped me accept myself, I think, a little bit more. Because I was struggling in the last few years from some past traumas, and it's been kind of like almost like a blessing and a way to heal from like
Mm,
trying to make sense of who I am. So,
mm,
yeah.
mhm. And so even as you share how you process that out loud, it kind of speaks to what you said, the interpretation of that word is. Like, I see you kind of talking about, you went through a process, analytical, and kind of thinking about different angles. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my job is a product owner, so I've mostly worked in HR, but like the IT side of HR my whole life, my whole career essentially. And I knew I wanted to do something in business, but also IT when I first started out. And it's been neat to see how God has allowed me to pursue things that I'm passionate about, but I'm also like more on the technical side of it. So I don't know, it's interesting. Yeah, and then like exploring the whole meaning of names, which is the technical term is onomatology.
Hmm.
And it just, I don't know, it keeps me intrigued and it kind of helps me tap into my creative side too.
Got it. Got it. So you know, you've recently celebrated 100 podcast interviews.
Yeah.
Of those 100, plus. How have you had any done any with like cross culturally? So, people born in other countries and how those cultures think about names and meanings. And if so,
Yeah.
what's been kind of some surprises for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, and just today I realized I was thinking, I was counting all the different people that I've interviewed that reside in different countries. For the longest time, I thought it was 10 different countries. It's actually 11. I forgot, totally forgot about the guy that I interviewed in India, which that one was like one of the best episodes. Um, but yeah, like South Africa, India, Nicaragua, the Netherlands, Montenegro, Canada, Sweden, Norway, and Venezuela. I'm sure I'm missing one of them. But I feel as though the people that I've gotten to have the opportunity to talk to that live in different countries, they have been more relaxed and more open-minded towards towards names and everything. And I don't know, it's a unique conversation because I always enjoy learning from others and learning their perspectives,
Hmm.
especially because they could definitely be raised in a completely different culture. And I'm looking forward to interviewing people like I want to hit somebody up in Japan and China and a few other places that you know, I've never been, but would love to learn more about. So I think it's just another avenue or another window that God has like allowed me to discover other parts of the world and other people in the world. So it's kind of exciting.
Well, if you need any, I'm sure you have lots of contacts, but our organization has alumni in different parts of the world as well. So if you
That's
ever are
awesome.
interested in talking to someone in Singapore or South Korea or China or wherever, Uzbekistan, I don't know if you'd be able to, but anyway,
Um,
just fascinating places. So I'd be
yeah.
happy to try to get you connected.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is a fun project.
Yeah, thank you. I
It seems
agree.
like you're having fun doing it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun for sure.
Well, very good. Well, thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, thanks for being a part of it. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe or follow the podcast on your favorite platform. Your support helps me continue bringing you meaningful conversations with remarkable guests. Don't forget to tune in next time for more insightful discussions and inspiring stories. Until then, thank you for listening and keep striving to make a positive impact wherever you are. And don't forget to tap into the meaning of your own name to find a deeper sense of confidence in your purpose.